Good evening, Speed Gaming 3, and welcome to a 2023 A Link to the Past randomizer main tournament group stage match between Azder and Coxla. And the mode for this matchup is McBoss. I'm Craze Gamer on commentary, and joining me in the booth is Karaoke. Kari, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, getting in on this tournament pretty early on in the races here for the main part here. I was paying attention to them qualifiers. I like the way they did it this time with the asyncs and the few live ones. How about you?
Oh, I was very much a fan of it. So this was my first step into tournament qualifier things, and the async was just really convenient. I loved it a lot, and I'm thinking a lot of other people did too, because there was a huge turnout, and I think it went really well. But yeah, this matchup is against Azder of and Coxla of Group H. Azder, who played all live qualifiers, and Coxla, who, from what I saw, played all async qualifiers. So it's a nice little mix of things there, and we are playing McBoss. Would you like to explain what McBoss is?
Sure, let me just rearrange my windows. All right. So the McBoss settings, we're going to have our dungeon items or maps and compasses are going to be shuffled. Everything's going to be accessible, of course. Goal is to defeat Ganon. 7 crystals opens the tower. He's vulnerable then as well. The big thing with McBoss, by the name, is the boss shuffle is fully done. So we're going to be seeing some of those big guys at the end of the dungeons, and the dungeon's not supposed to technically be in.
Yeah, that is the huge draw of this mode. So you can dip a dungeon, and you may have all the items to get to the boss, but you may not have the items to actually defeat the boss once you get there. So we'll see how our runners play this out. Both of them starting with the Uncle start, and we'll see where they go from here. So just for some extra info, Asder placed 4th in his in their McBoss live qualifier out of 62, and Coxla placed 20th in his async out of 60. So sometimes you just get a good seed.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some of those. No matter what the mode is, sometimes there's just those seeds that just everything falls into place, especially with this one where you might end up having to double dip a dungeon because the boss at the end is a Trinex, you don't have an ice rod. But sometimes it doesn't happen. You can just fly through the whole thing and place really well. And also that really just goes for any rando mode here.
Indeed. So our runners may not even need an ice rod if Trinex doesn't appear anywhere in a crystal dungeon. So that'd be something nice, hopefully.
Yeah, there's always those kind of 1 or 2 off items for those who aren't too experienced in Link to the Past rando that are only used in a couple of areas, the Ice Rod being probably the biggest one of those, where it's only needed to defeat Trinex so you can freeze his Firehead and be able to attack it properly. And that's why you might see things like an Ice Rod hunt being the final thing runners are going for at the end, because they need that and it can be anywhere.
Yeah, we're not fans of the ice rod hunt, but sometimes you just gotta find an ice rod.
Sometimes you just gotta chill out and do it, you know?
Indeed. All right, so Coxla is gonna get an extra 100 rupees by giving the bottle vendor a B, and gets 20 in return, it looks like. So we did have a lot of money at the start of this seed, so Azder has enough for the bombs in the shop. And let's see, there wasn't really too much else.
Another bonus of having that early bottle is that you can go visit the sick kid very early once you're doing all of your other Kakariko Town checks, instead of having to, mark that off as a maybe later type of thing. Unfortunately, nothing too interesting given by the sick kid this time, but, it's out of the way. Don't have to remember it now.
Coxla is showing us what you can do with a shovel. Don't know what he's trying to dig up, but Is he looking for bombs? Because he can buy bombs. Or you can just find bombs.
As if it wasn't bad enough that the hero is going into people's houses and picking up all their pots and smashing them, now the hero is digging up their yards as well. Can you believe it?
That's a free service, I think.
I mean, mowing the lawn is one thing, but digging up the grass instead, the HOAs in Kakariko are going to have a fit about that.
Indeed. So Coxla did find the Pegasus boots in Blind's hideout, so that is... Our runners will be going fast for the rest of the seed.
Yeah, good movement option. And also, now we can hop over down to the item on the shelf in the library and see what's there that happened. Again, mark that for later.
Yeah, that's usually something you have to come back to, but here our runners will be able to just get it if it's even marginally good. I think Azder is all done with... Now Azder's all done with the village. Let's see what's in the library. Yeah, even with the boots, that is not worth picking up.
We'll shave off some seconds there by not getting that. The runners are... Every single runner in this stage of the tournament is good enough to just leave, a quarter of a heart for later. They're probably going to be picking up multiple full heart containers and just other ones along the way as well. And, even then, I'm pretty sure any of them could beat the game on 5 hearts that they have right now.
Indeed. And when you're in the main tournament and you're past qualifiers, you find every second you can, because everyone is good enough to take advantage of that if you give them anything. Like, you can't give up any advantage whatsoever.
So we saw there are 2 different strategies for doing the maze game there, where Azder actually went through and did the maze game to save and quit back, but Coxla did the peek to kind of hedge the bet of not anything being there, and saving a little bit of time without having to go through the menus there and able just to run over to the woods. But as you see, it kind of just evens out in the end there.
Yeah, I kind of like doing the scout when you have the boots because it makes the scout quicker. And then if it has to be something, then then it's whatever. But I like blind checking it when you don't have the boots, which is most of the time.
Yeah, definitely without the boots, that time there would be that time difference there would have been much greater.
All right, both of our runners deciding to go down. We're going to check out the dam and probably Mini Moldorm Cave, and with the boots, probably Ice Rod Cave, and maybe even check the Zora area with the water walk, but we'll see what our money looks like when we get there. It's just a 50, which is something, but it's not close to the 500 that they're going to need for Zora if they choose to go that route.
Oh yeah, only weapon so far to defeat these little guys is bombs, so having to hope for some luck there of them being nice and staying all together and being able to defeat them with as few bombs as possible, not running out. Both runners doing very well. Ooh, little snack in that chest there with the moon pearl and lots of hearts.
Yeah, we got a healthy early seed. Yeah, bombs is... You hope to get lucky on it, and... Like, azder had an interesting layout for putting the bomb in the center row, like, right in the middle to really maximize the chances, but just the Moldworm did not cooperate. Ooh, that's a glove. Alright, so... That puts Zora in logic. That puts a few other things in logic, too, but... If the seed wants you to go to Zora for something... That's, that could be a hint. Azder's gonna peek the island, which is just a piece of heart, so... Into the whirlpool and to the Zora area. Nothing really important in Waterfall Fairy. Let's see what is on the Zora ledge. And neither of our runners has enough money for Zora, so that's going to be a save and quit for likely both of our runners.
Indeed it is. Not really much you can do there other than unless you really want to grind enemies for their drops, and I'm not even sure if the enemies up there have the right drops.
Love, our runners also have the ability to open up one of the hideouts to just farm up rupees, but that obviously takes a lot of time, and maybe Zora, if Zora is not something, then you're way behind, so that's probably something they would do as a last location, but in the meantime, they can continue checking other things. Like, we've got some divergence here. Azder is going to check the lumberjack ledge, while Coxla is going to go to the back of escape. Just a red 20 on the lumberjack ledge, so we will not need to defeat Aga for the item. Meanwhile, the back of escape, a couple of things, but we've got a quake, which we don't know if that's going to be needed yet, but we might need it to get into Misery Mire or Toro Rock. Alright, Azder is going to break the mountain. Doesn't have the lamp, doesn't have the flute, so these checks are out of logic, but the only things that are accessible here are the old man turn-in. You could look at what's on top of Spec Rocks, and you can get the item that's in Spec Rock Cave. So, unless there's something huge here, like a hook shot, or something else good, like a sword or hammer, this is going to be a save and quit, and just getting the save and quit spot. Coxla, on the other hand, he's going into Desert with the book.
Following the possible breadcrumb of that early book pickup to see if this leads anywhere, and maybe our further progressions in here.
Not only that, but the boot also points to Desert as well, since the torch item is accessible. So if we're boots locked, it doesn't matter. We just need a good weapon to defeat Landmo, and we need a fire source. But maybe there's one here. We do, in fact, have a boots-locked desert. Let's see if we can get both items in the front of desert. Coxla will have to defeat these enemies with just bombs, which is a little awkward, but not insurmountable.
All that health coming in useful, and just hold the bombs and stand really close to the enemies.
When in doubt, tank it. Azder has decided to go to Sahasrala. We're going to learn where our green pendant is and get 3 items along the way. Ooh. Now, normally that's a big deal because that means Trinex isn't required, but this is McBoss, so Trinex may not be in TR. Ooh, that was important. We got a mitts, and maybe a mushroom's important.
Yeah, already a glove upgrade.
And that's Dark World access. Alright, Coxla's going to end the quest into desert with a Gina, and we'll see where he goes next. Just a pod map at Agina's, and even more hearts for your hearts at Eastern Palace. Cox is going to buy bombs.
Yeah, probably with no other weapon, just a little bit too low for their liking, possibly only having, I think, was it 3 there? And, heading up over into the eastern area. Probably doing the same thing that Azer's doing and gonna poke around the dungeon at this point, because
Yeah.
try to do all this easy, light world stuff first while it's there. Before journeying on. Also, we'll see if once they get the other glove here, if they decide to abandon and head somewhere else.
And they do. So Coxla is out of there. Probably going to go to Dark World at this point. Azder is going to check out what's in the vanilla big key chest. It is out of logic without a lamp, but it's a pretty free check. Also is going to turn in the mushroom right away. Let's see if this gives us anything. Does the mushroom bear fruit? No.
No, just a delivery payment.
But this is heads up. It's quick access to King's Tomb, and Azder has the same idea. But it's nothing. Yep, Azder is going to follow suit, turn in a mushroom, not get anything for it. And Coxla, I think, is on his way to the Dark World.
Welcome to Dark World. There is a good amount of stuff to check here. Heading up into Skullwoods first to get some of those basic checks out of the way that are basically right there in some of the early parts of the dungeon.
So Asder did a reset, so they still have the mushroom, just in case. Just in case fake powder comes into play later. Meanwhile, Coxla is going through Skullwoods, effectively close enough to the overworld to just be overworld checks, so not a bad dip by any means. Coxla's going to wait till get grabbed by the Wallmaster, saves a small key, and is going to bomb jump over the pit to easily check, or is going to hover. Successfully hovered, but then got bullied by a Moldorm. Gets a small key out of the big chest and decides to go back outside. On one heart, this is a little dangerous. I probably would have preferred a death warp just to get some hearts back.
Especially having to play dodge the Gyptos here to move that statue. It's even more tricky. And gets grabbed. Unfortunate.
That's right, gets to show us it again. Or not.
Oh right, they picked up when they went to the waterfall fairy cave. They picked up a fairy in a bottle by tossing their empty bottle into the pond there.
I think maybe another one of their bottles had a fairy in it to start with, so...
Also possible.
It didn't look like there was anything in the center chest, so I think they're out. Yeah, Cox was out, so his next play is probably the Village of Outcasts, and maybe a Thieves Town dip.
Have to be careful. These enemies hit really hard, especially when you're on entirely just green mail. They have a lot of health, but they still hit hard, and we got our first map check there.
I think I saw all 3 pendants.
Yeah, all 3 pendants in Dark World.
Bumper Ledge just having 5 rupees, so that's a skip. Oh, Coxla, gotta be careful, you're on half a heart. You're gonna take a death, you want to do it in Thieves Town. Ooh, that's a good one. It's a fire rod in the brewery. Still don't have a completable Skullwoods, though. We need a sword to move back the curtain. Alright, Coxla is going to put those digging skills to work again at the dig game.
Well, at least this is technically a legal area to dig in.
Yeah, I mean, the guy wants you to dig. He'll take your money and let you dig.
Unfortunately, nothing of terrible interest there as Coxla heads back up north, picking up our friend Toad Blacksmith, taking him on a journey.
Without the mirror, won't be able to mirror to the smith's house, but you can carry the smith all the way with you through Dark World, and then on the next save and quit, the smith is pretty much the first place you go. So Azder found powder in Thieves Town. I don't know if they found anything else. So fun facts about McBoss. In this mode, you do not have to go to the Thieves Town attic to bomb open the ceiling to make the boss appear. The boss will just already be there, even if it is blind.
I was just about to give up on our old friend Hype Cave there when the flippers showed up. I mean, they're okay, maybe kind of sort of useful now, but still no. I mean, we already checked the Zora area, so I had the gloves for that, and I don't know. It's not good for now, but considering we do know that Swamp Palace is a crystal, good to have for later.
The mirror's going to come up eventually, so flippers are going to be needed for Swamp. And we did leave behind one flippers checks. We did not visit our friend under the bridge yet, so our runners will get to that at some point. Right, so Azder grabbed the smith, and Coxla is going to turn in a smith for just 10 arrows. So I think Azder is going to follow the same path. End at Hype Cave, and then turn in the smith.
While Coxla is retracing what Azder did beforehand and heading into Thieves Town to get all the chests possible and peek what boss is there.
Now, I would assume Fire Rod can damage blind, but I don't think Coxla has enough magic to fire off. Is it 9 shots that are required?
Yeah, 3 hits per phase. And yeah, it doesn't damage blind. You need something to touch him with.
Need something with a little bit more oomph to it. And we'll see if Coxla wants to do the back of Thieves Town, which in McBoss is usually a very orphaned check. Coxla going for the run into blind with your face strategy that Azder showed off before to the same effect.
Had a bit of a think there as as Coxla ran out and was gonna go somewhere. I was like, no, wait, I was just save and quit and head back up to Light World.
Ooh, I like this. Coxla's gonna go for Houlihan, it looks like. That'll put them over 500. All right, there's a Zora in our future.
Ooh, well, 6 short, but maybe they'll pick some up along the way.
Well, if Coxla wants to turn in the purple chest, that'll put them over the top. Because that was a 50 in there.
Friend under the bridge, not having any pocket change left over, just another piece of heart to add to our very long list of hearts for this. I mean, 30 minutes in, we've already got the whole first row filled out.
Yep, not what our runners want to see at this point. They're good to go on health, even if they don't find any male upgrades. But Coxla is going to go to Zora.
And if I remember right, the item on the cliff was red rupee, so you can go all the way around and grab that, and then come back and then get the Zora item.
It works. It's a sure thing. That is good memory on Coxla's part, and I guess it beats farming. Now, here's an interesting thing. Azder has a fire rod, so they can get to the back. So they can spy what the boss is. And if it's Lambo, they can beat it.
Really, Zora? You had one of those down on your cliff. Why'd you have to cough up another one?
Coxla handed King Zora a red 20, and King Zora handed it back. What a champ. Coxla is going to go for front of escape. Ooh, Azder does not want to check out the boss.
Yeah, not much left to go here. So going back into the escape and getting the rest of the stuff for it kind of makes sense here. We're starting to dry up on locations for actual progression.
Yeah, at this point, just becomes find the best bad check that you can and just run with it. So yeah, we've got escape, which is what Coxla is doing now. We've got the back of Skullwood's bridge chest. We've got hookless, hammerless ice.
you.
Mm-hmm. Sure, Coxla would have wanted that 300 before going to Zora first, but is what it is.
Standing a little bit too still there for the guard, like directly behind him, and the guard's just like, nope, no one's here, and gives up trying to stab him.
The guard doesn't get paid enough to care. Yeah, it's McBoss. You do want to pick up those compasses. You do want to know what bosses are where. Which you can do if you have a compass for that dungeon. You can go into the map while you're in the dungeon, and the game will tell you what boss is there. Well, that was a mail upgrade in Dark Cross, so Coxla is now on blue mail. Meanwhile, Azder is going to check the pyramid ledge if he can get through. Using good game knowledge to know that if you bonk that tree, you will get a fairy.
The fairy barely didn't cooperate. They're heading down, of course, with the enemy instead of up to where Azder wanted them, and nothing really there, so heading off.
This is gross. Pod, but we don't have a bow, so hope that first chest is a small key. Otherwise, we have a potion for potion glitch. Alright, it's Pod with no hammer, no bow. We've got an Armos Knights in Pod.
As you were saying, there's our check because we have the compass there. Just open up the pause menu. You never see that screen normally.
Oh, I see
random.
that screen. I see that screen all the time. It's because I, hit the wrong button. I don't mean to, but I see it.
I don't even think I could tell you which button that was. But here it's useful, as we are going through the very bright on Azder's palette choice here, Palace of Darkness. Trying to find in this drip feed of items where our progression is at this point, nearly 40 minutes into this seed.
We've got 3 keys in the front so far. If both of the items are going to be on the right side, that's going to be a little rude. That's effectively the same thing. I don't recall if Azder does have a potion. Oh, they're just going to do Mimic Clip.
Yeah, none of the bottles that have been picked up have had potions in them. Just there was a bee and a fairy. So going to do the other way of getting through this room, of just grabbing onto the wall and sneaking the last mimic, the red one here, because that's the one that you need. Need what they don't have to defeat, and just gonna sneak him into the wall and make the game forget that it's there.
Yep. When azder does this correctly, the red mimic will just move on down the wall and then off the screen, and the game will open up the door because there's no more enemies on the screen.
The red mimic has now returned to its home planet.
Indeed. So this item, whatever it is logically locked behind a bow, and it's, ooh, that's a good one. That's a Kina Samaria, which has some interesting logical implications about where the bow could be.
Yeah, can't do anything more at this point. No hammer to smash down the funny faces there, so gotta give some hugs to the enemies and head on our way out.
Azder is going to go into the back of Pod. We've got a whole bunch of checks there. Gets bullied by a Helmosaur. Azder will reset the room and try that again.
Yeah, usually I feel like by now you're used to, especially with the boots, just able to run into anything with a sword or something and just stab things and move them out of the way. Just like, get out of my way. Not here. I'm walking here. But without able to do that, you just kind of bonk into them and get pushed off and run into stuff and get damaged. And it can be slight learning curve if you're just not expecting it, just kind of going with the flow at times.
All right, so Azder picking up an ether in Pod, and did pick up the second of the small keys in the backs. Well, option. I forgot what the first item was, so if he's counting, if Azder is counting keys, okay, there is an item in Harmless Hellbite. Okay. So there's at least 4 in the front, and then there's 2 in the back, but none of them can be in the Dark Maze, so one can count keys and know where the items are. Now, all of this is logically locked behind a lamp, but Azder can maneuver in the dark without a problem.
Out of all the quote-unquote advanced skills, I'd say, for rando running, navigating dark rooms is probably the easiest. You just study a map and bonk around a few times. Of course, it's more helpful if you have a sword and you can hold it out and see little sparkles and everything. But one of those things that you learn pretty early on how to do, especially some of the earlier dungeons or areas like saving the old man in Death Mountain.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That area, Eastern Palace. Those are the easier dark rooms to do. Then I would say Pod, and then I would even say Turtle Rock's dark room is easier than Misery Myers, but that's just me.
Coxla, once again, on only half a heart, has to be pretty careful with all this fire around that lingers right at the very end of the shots, too.
Also, he probably just ran into an enemy that he couldn't see, so that was pretty much inevitable.
Considering the prize that we saw Azder get there, it's Coxla's heading back in to presumably try again. He's probably going to be very disappointed once he gets to the end of this end of the maze there.
All right, here's the next bad check. It is Azder going into Ice Palace without a hammer, and I mean, Kansamari is nice. That makes it a little easier, but you hate to dip this without having a hammer, because you can't get to the boss without it.
So all this time we've been, shoving our face into enemies to do death warps and stuff. Now we can just shove a block into enemies and finally destroy them, get our revenge.
It is possible to do that. I'm sure our runners would want an actual sword, but a magical block, that works too. Very convenient that the Pengators are on the bomb prize pack.
Now if it would just hold still. Or slide into it, that works too. And at this point, Coxla has the same idea and is also heading into this ice palace. With the way it's set up, just gotta say it in the most disgusting voice as possible. Ice palace. Ice palace. Ugh.
Ice palace.
Make it have, goosebumps pop up on your skin when you say it.
So Azder is just on a half a heart, no magic left to do any Kanasamarias, and doesn't have a hammer, so can't even check that chest, and doesn't have a hook shot, so can't move across this.
Whoops. Yeah, no fairy left, you used it.
Yeah. This is a rough one. We are 46 minutes in. We have no boss clears. We have no sword. We have no hammer. We have no bow. We just have a whole lot of nothing here.
Just a lot of second stage, items that, usually you would think that, oh, I have this, and I'm looking for this now. I'm looking for fire rod, I'm looking for flippers to get into the places to do all that. But no, we're trying to find all the first stage stuff that is the simple things, the pointy stuff, to damage things.
Alright, also doing the classic Ice Palace bomb jump. This will save some time later in the dungeon, assuming we find a hammer and can beat the boss. Now, is Azder gonna go? Yes, Azder is gonna go to the attic. There's one chest in the attic, and there's the small chest in Blind Cell, and if we had a hammer, we could also check the big chest as well. So it's 2 checks, and it might be something. Oh, was that a hook shot in Ice Palace? Yeah, Coxla's got a hook shot. I assume that came from the Freezor chest.
Had to. I did not see that pop up at all. It just snuck in the pocket there.
And Azder has found a sword in the Thieves Town attic.
Well, very kind of blind to put a weapon to defeat him right beneath, below, above? Above. We're above. In the same dungeon as he is in. Even though, it's a pendant dungeon and etc., it's still nice.
Mm-hmm. But even still, regardless of all that, Aster still has, well, is going to get back some hearts, and good game knowledge, knowing that there's an anti-fairy there. So now is up to nearly full life, but no magic, but probably doesn't need magic for this boss fight if they choose to go through with it.
And Coxla finding the mirror in Ice Palace and using it to head on their way out, because I believe they were done at that point.
I assume the mirror was an iced tea, because that's where he was going. So this puts Coxla right on the mountain, because hookshot is the right side, and the mirror is Tower of Hera. And all Azder got for that was the Sank Heart. So let's see how long it's going to take for Azder to make the play back to Ice Palace to get a hook shot and a mirror. There's still more things for Azder to do, though. Like back of Skullwoods. Actually, Azder could just do Skullwoods. He's got they got a sword now. Okay. That's a good one.
That is. There's our flute.
So that is logical mountain access and mire area access. Alright, Coxla is into Tower of Hera. Looked like he was trying to set up for Hera. Oh, that's a three-eyed Moldor.
With all those legs, you'd think they'd be a little bit better at navigating the moving floor, but Moldorm's thinking it's like very slippery or something here. I kind of feel sorry for the poor guys. Look at him. Struggling.
Truly, the boss of Skullwoods is the floor and not the Moldorm. But anyway, that is Azder's first crystal at 5230. Meanwhile, Coxla is at the Hera basement, and we'll see what's here. Well, it has to be a big key, because the big key was not up front. And Coxla says no? Am I missing something? Did they check the boss and see that it couldn't be beaten?
I didn't catch a pause screen. I'm not sure if we've picked up the Hera compass.
Sure, we'll figure it out in a little bit, because Coxla has gone to the mountain and is going to do a full clear, because they've got a mirror, so they've got a hookshot, they can do that, and they can also spy what the TR medallion is, just in case we need to go in there.
Remember, Coxla doesn't have too many things in terms of weaponry, just the fire rod, and depending on what boss is there's not really much choices if they're, whatever boss would be up at the top of Tower of Hera, if it'd be beatable or not. So, kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense to dip out now and go get all these chests that are over here and maybe find a sword or something.
That makes sense. Azder has found the hammer in the Meyer shed. Alright, Azder's in much better shape.
And nothing up there. No good items in all of those chests that Coxla just opened. And Misery Mire is the Quake Medallion. We have the Quake Medallion. Luckily, it wasn't, Bombos. That's the only one that Azder does not have at this time. So we can just go right in there since we're here.
Does not have the compass, so Azder will have to go to the boss room to see what the boss is. But regardless of that, they do have the Cane of Samaria, and I would presume Azder can do the dark room, so we'll see what's there when we get there. Meanwhile, Coxla is showing us Hookshot Cave. Nothing yet. That's Coxla's first sword. May want to reconsider Tower of Hera at this point. Floating Island is Bombos. Which Coxla does elect to go for. I do like this. That mirror was deep in Ice Palace, so push that advantage 100%. I'm in favor.
Mm-hmm.
Because Coxla does not have the hammer, he's going to have to save and quit and then go back up the left side in order to get back into Tower of Hera. As they're showing us that the big key is vanilla.
And yeah, Coxla is on red mail now. Did pick it up in one of those shopping mall areas in Death Mountain. So just super healthy, defenseful seed. But, the weapons have been lacking.
Bright as red mail. Huh.
Back in Tower of Hera we go. Taking the quick way up, the teleporter upstairs.
Oh, that was too quick. I missed that.
Yeah, I saw a menu.
Coxla knew where to look. We didn't. Well, whatever it is, Coxla is getting some hearts. I'm assuming this is going to be a doozy. Yeah, that's a gold stare.
Yeah, that's a cold stare on the platform that you can fall off of. At least there's bombos that was picked up on the floating island. You can just crack open the ice right there and save a bunch of your magic to speed up taking out the puffball parts.
Yep, but without half magic, there's going to be a limited amount of fire rod shots that Coxla can do, and fighter sword spins don't do a lot. And in fact, I think Coxla might be out. Oh, now they're out with one puff down. And as they're taken to death, I presume in the dark room.
All right, 2 puffs down. Now it's pretty easy at this point.
As long as the puff doesn't bully him into off the edge, then he should be fine. That red mail definitely putting in work.
Whew,
And
that
there it
was a
is.
fight. Some prize money and Coxla's first crystal at just over the 1 hour mark.
Alright, Azder is going to get their mirror and hook shot in Ice Palace, and they're not going to feel good about this. Azder does have more health and magic than when they first came in here, so that's something. They'll be able to go a little bit further. And we never saw this, which is just a compass to Meyer. So when Aster goes back to Meyer, they'll know who the boss is.
Revenge taken on the spike pit that they had to just step on and die there because they only had half a heart earlier. And heading deeper into the dungeon. Meanwhile, Coxla is heading back into the back half of Skull Woods. Gonna, get themselves a very quick second crystal.
Oh, Azder can actually look at the boss here because they have a hammer. I don't know if they've been counting items or if pedestal is on Azder's mind or not, but it's an option. Oh no, Azder did not go to Ice Tea.
Nope. That little side room that even I've forgotten has existed before. Just heading straight into the boss after picking up another sword.
Oh, that's not good. And there is no way Azder goes back into Ice Palace all the way down to Ice Tea just for that one check. This is disastrous. I'm thinking Azder took a gamble as to where the last item was, and it did not pay out. We'll see what Azder does here, but I would be very surprised if they go back into Ice Palace just for iced tea. Yeah.
No refreshing southern drink for Azder. Moving on in the game, and we'll see how long it takes before they, run out of places to go. We're getting to the point where we are finding more and more actually useful items and opening up more and more dungeons. And at an hour and change in, you're probably going to start being in your always be clearing mode, and just trying to clear as much as possible to progress the actual game versus just digging around locations.
What does that mean?
Use this to become invincible. I'm assuming that means the blue cane?
Yeah, that makes
Because
sense.
it's not the cape, because the cape would be invisible. I don't know what the different speech text boxes on the sword stabby block say. But invincible, that's definitely what Berna does.
And chat seems to agree with you, so we'll say that it is in fact the Cane of Berna, so head doesn't mean anything right now. And it won't, because there's no logical implications to I'm gonna take that back. We haven't found the cape yet. So if Spy Cape is a thing, then you need one of Cape or Berna to do that, or just get like a red potion or something.
We've tanked so much of the rest of the seed already, they'll just tank that too.
Indeed. Just $50 on Ether Tablet. We knew that from Coxla scouting it earlier. Acer sees the good news that Cold Stare is waiting at the top of Tower of Hera.
Now, Azder, I was gonna say they're gonna have an easier time of it because they got a Master Sword, but he also doesn't have the Bombos medallion, so he's going to have to use up all his magic to do the Fire Rod shots to crack open the ice cage.
And Azder is on green mail, so those pups are going to deal 6 hearts of damage on every hit.
That too.
Yeah, this is not going to be an easy fight. This would not be an easy fight in Ice Palace, but doing this on the Tower of Hera platform, where you have a hole in the middle, is going to be something.
All right, let's dance.
Whipping the hammer just in case Azure can get a good shot in. Uh-oh. That's one down. It's two.
It's easier now, but don't get too comfy. Alright.
What a fight. Contrast to the boss that Coxla is now fighting, Mothula in a room that does not have a moving floor.
And with using that red mail again, just again face tanking that boss, getting really up close and personal with the moth to shoot off a couple of fire rod shots so they were out of magic, and then just stabbing it with a sword a bunch of times.
And that is one more crystal for Coxla, bringing him up to, it looks like, 3. Meanwhile, azder is going to look at Bombo's requirement and move on out, but Coxla does go to the mire area and picks up a hammer. azder now has a tempered sword, but is still missing out on a mirror.
I mean, he did not know that the floating island there has the Bombos medallion either, because I probably would have gone back through the hookshot cave in the back end there and checked that if he knew that.
But does need a mirror to get it, though, so...
True. Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, I did kind of skip that mirror.
Yeah, azder may have scouted Bombos, but that's really just information at this point. Looks like azder does want to do Spike Cave, though. Meanwhile, Coxla is going to open up Swamp Palace and make his way in.
So remember when we were trying to find a sword for like an hour? Or, like,
yeah, I do. I do in fact remember that. Yeah.
But now we found a bunch of swords. Here they all are.
Perfect. What can azder do with any of them? And unfortunately for Coxla, the old adage of there is a sword in swamp is not going to hold here. Alright, so apparently Argus is just chilling at home. Since azder's already been in here, they're just going to go straight to the back. This time with many more hearts, a blue mail. Should be able to get through the dark room without a problem. Coxla is going to set up some diver down doesn't have the can smart, so it's gonna have to use the bomb setup and get bullied by a fire snake. While Azder is through the dark room and will now meet whatever boss is here. I don't know if they did a map check, but we're in the room. Here it is.
Yeah, I don't think when Astor first came through here, didn't have the compass and picked it up like right after, and then never checked. Cause I think he assumed he was just gonna come back right away sometime after, and it's just another blind.
Mm-hmm. Fighting a boss in this room is a little bit awkward since half the room is, well, I'm going to call it lava even though it's not lava.
It's in this case it's Pepto-Bismol, I'd say.
I could see it. That is another crystal down for Azder, moving them up to 3, which is actually exactly how many Coxla currently has, but he is currently working on his 4th.
Ooh. So there might not have been any swords in Swamp, but there certainly was a bow.
Ooh, that's needed. And that is logically what we need for the Cane of Samaria that Azder found in Pod. That is also a good reason for Coxla to go back to Pod and Eastern. And pending beatable bosses, that is another two crystals down. So really, we just need an ice rod to make every boss beatable, right?
Squint. Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, so Coxla is going to feel a little bit more confident going into dungeons and is really only going to get walled by a Trinex. Oh, but Azder has a big bomb.
Yeah, with Skullwoods and Misery Mire being 5 and 6, and there's our Ice Rod that we may or may not need. As Coxla found out that just our giant popcorn bucket was in the back of Swamp. Easy fight. One more crystal.
Alright, so with a bow, I would assume the next move is Pod Eastern.
Quick clears, relatively, probably super easy at this point. Just get them done out of the way, and you're always be clearing mode while you're thinking about where to head off next.
Okay, so we know Mire is beatable. So we just have question marks on Eastern and Pod, and as long as neither of them are Trinex, Coxla will have 7 crystals. Which is, based on our count, we've seen a lot of dungeons so far. We have not seen a Trinex, and we know that there is at least one floating out there in the world somewhere. Alright, Pods and Armos Knights. Which I think we knew, we just forgot about it.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been here. We just kind of forgot about that, because at the time we had no way to, really beat anything.
That's the Cane of Samaria for Coxla. So his path is clear now. Clear Eastern, clear Mire. And if you're on the Trionex, go find an Ice Rod. We've got dueling cutscenes. That's an easy moth down for Azder. That is crystal number 4. And let's see where Azder wants to go next. And here's an Armos Knights fight in Pod. The Armos Knights somehow making their way into the Dark World in the exact same spot that they were in the Light World.
Just a casual misplacement. No need to worry. A little bit of a different fight there with those spikes in the background. And getting another B as a prize. Can't believe it. And a crystal.
Can't believe it. Eh? Eh?
Yeah, yeah. Pick it up when I'm putting down.
And that's crystal number... Was it crystal number 5 for Coxla?
Mm-hmm. Just with Eastern Palace, which we're heading into right now. And Misery Mire left to go.
Ooh, that's a Vidi. Alright, that's another beatable one. So Coxla is going to dodge Trinex. Look at that. Now, something that I did notice but didn't call out was that Coxla did run out of arrows during the Armos Knights fight and had to resort to sword swings. Now, granted, the floor isn't poison in Eastern Palace, but those Little Eyes do take a lot of hits. So this is still, it's going to be an interesting fight because Coxla is still on Fighter Sword.
Yeah, there are a few arrow pickups along the way, but still, it's, would like to have maybe at least the Master Sword at this point to make things a little bit faster. Not even just easier, I'd say, just faster.
Yeah, the arrow pickups are going to be good. I presume Coxla is going to want to save an amount of them for the big eye, so the rest of it is going to have to be the like sword swings or hammers on the small eyes.
Yeah, and again, we might just be seeing face tanking strats again at this point with hammer and red mail and just smash them to pieces, squish them. I guess eyes are squishy, so we wouldn't like smash them. Maybe if they were like more brittle, so squish them.
Yes. Meanwhile, Azder's going to show us the big chest, which is just a 5.
Oh, that Vitreous needs some, eye drops. That is a very, very red eye.
Yeah, Viddy needs some sleep.
Sleep as well, yeah. We all need more sleep.
Not right now, though. We're calling this race.
I mean, I can't take a nap while the runners are going back against, backtracking against where the other person's been already. Dang.
All right, there it is. The hammer to clean up the little ones and arrows to finish off the big eye. And that is crystal number 6 for Coxla. Just needs to go to Misery Mire. And then to Ganon's Tower. By the by, we are a little under 90 minutes in. If you are not following these runners, you should go and follow these runners. They're putting on a great show for us. And McBoss is not an easy mode to play. So if you're enjoying this, go ahead and follow. Right. Azder's doing the Hera basement, but we know this is not going to be the answer. We know the answer is in Ice Palace, which Azder has already been to twice.
Yeah, not just Ice Palace, but quite deep into Ice Palace in the Ice Tea Room. And Azder's probably mentally mostly done with Ice Palace at this point, having even beaten the boss there and gotten the pendant prize. And, eventually might, just because he's a good player, just might realize where those final one-off gamble skip checks are going to be and be like, beans.
Yeah, it is unlikely Azder will make it back to Ice Tea in time to turn this around. Did Azder not get Hera Big Chest? I guess not.
Guess not. It was just the Turtle Rock Compass, but I didn't realize that he'd skipped that earlier when heading up the tower.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that Azder made that skip as well. So it seems like Azder went into this game with just with an aggressive mindset. Just skip stuff and just hope it works out. So if that was the case, then the Ice Tea skip was probably in something pre-planned, and it's it just didn't work out. Yeah, Azder didn't do Zora either, so this is just cleaning up bad checks, and this is not going to work out.
That's another point. We know where all the swords are, and they're in places that Coxla might not go to again, or just won't go to, depending, how buried they are. And kind of needs another sword.
Yeah, Coxla will very likely full clear the Ganon's tower basement, including the big chest, and we'll have to backtrack out before before making the climb up, because the game does require you to have the Master Sword in order to damage Ganon. Here's a blind fight for Coxla. Putting the Keen of Samari to good use, letting blind just run into it.
Yeah, it helps when you can't just stand up in the goo up there.
While Azder's going into escape at 130, which you never like to see.
Nah. Coxla getting his final crystal. Luckily not getting dead rock blocked. Heading to that teleporter there. As Coxla climbs up Death Mountain. Heading to Ganon's tower. While Azder is doing a bit of an item hunt here, needs the mirror for any further progression at this point, and does not exactly know where it is.
Azder's going to check Dark Cross and get the red mail. But it's not going to be the mirror, which is what he is looking for. I guess he's also looking for a bow as well, but we know that the main progression is the mirror. Alright, so Kari, where do you think this big key's going to end up?
Man, I don't know. I always guess wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it is a 1 in 22 chance. Like, the odds are we're all wrong.
Exactly. I mean, yeah. I'm used to bad odds in games, so you'd think I'd be a little bit better and have some of my desire sensor luck trigger and do it correctly or something, but no. I always pick wrong. I would just say like 18 or so. Just pick a number and be like, that's my favorite number, just go with that one, why not?
Yeah, I'm a fan of 17, which I think lands in Rando Room, if I do the math right.
It is nearly 8 p.m. where I am, therefore it is too late in the day for math, so I will just say yes.
Every time of the day is too late for math.
No, sometimes you're too early in the day for math.
Alright, Coxla's gonna go left then right. Fighting boomerangs, by the by.
Azder did circle back around here to Ice Palace and will be making that very long trek to the Ice Tea Room to pick up his mirror.
And if you're Azure, you cannot feel good about this.
There's silver arrows.
Alright, so Coxla is going to be on Master Sword Silvers when he eventually finds a Master Sword. Oh, so here's the unfortunate thing. Coxla is guaranteed to run into a Trinex. Because he's going to look for a sword and has to find a Trinex somewhere. Did he reset? Was that a crash? What? Okay. I hope he didn't lose a lot of progress.
I can't exactly tell where he's at. He's heading back up the mountain here.
Alright, so Azder now has a mirror. And he will make the he'll make the trek into Swamp, which is exactly where you want to be.
So back to what we were saying before Coxla's game exit there. Running into a Trinex. Because Coxla's going to be scouring the tower for a sword, believing one is in there because there's so many chests in there.
Yes.
We have an ice rod.
Yeah, so when Coxla runs into a Trinex, he's gonna have to stop. Because we know that the ice rod is in is at Pyramid Ferry. So Coxla doesn't have this wrapped up just yet, but we'll see what happens. While Coxla is doing this, Azder can make up ground. We'll see if it's enough, though.
Oh, there's the big key pretty early on. That's like, I mean, it's like chest 3 for this run through. I don't know what it would have been if you got into that room before. Didn't go right this time. Instead, heading straight left and skipping as many chests as possible to try to catch back up. Possibly not going to get those silvers again.
I'm not sure I like that move. You're going to be on Master Sword. I think you need silvers. Especially since you know where they are. Like, it's not a huge deal to go back and get them.
I mean, it's a little deep on the right side. Not super, but still. And especially after a unfortunate incident of whatever happened there was that you might feel that, and especially when you're hour 40 in, where's my opponent? Are they right behind me? I'm going to try to cut off as much time as possible, and I can do... I mean, all these runners are so good, I can probably say they can do Master Sword Silverless Ganon. It just takes a while. You don't know where your opponent is or anything. Just trying to shave off as much time as possible as you can.
Yeah, even still, though, like... like I haven't done the math because again, math is hard, but I would imagine the time taken to go get silvers is going to be faster than the amount of time that you would spend on a silverless fight. He could have had a mirror shield. Just didn't want it.
Ah, bullied by a Helmosaurus still, even this late in.
Alright, let's see if we have to, not have to, but let's see if Coxla is going to run into an ice Trinex. Hey! Yep. It's Ice Trinex!
Alright, so back to the right we're going.
Now, that does not preclude Trinex from showing up again later. Oh, and as chat points out...
Yeah, no keys.
Coxla doesn't have keys. So this is just... Yeah, this is just tile room just for the sake of tile room.
No, you can't pull the door open. Link doesn't have a lockpick.
Oof.
Oh no! And now the torches went out. Have to go all the way back up and do all those again.
The wheels are starting to come off here.
Which leads to no magic left, meaning I have to do bomb strats for the conveyor belt here. Very tight positioning there to get that. Okay, silver's reacquired.
Yeah, I can understand the position that Coxla is in. After what I have to assume was an accidental reset, being in a race like this against someone as good as Azder, that was minutes that Coxla gave back, and he would have no idea where Azder is. The race is still happening. He could not have known that Azder is as behind as Azder currently is. And this is all not even mentioning that Coxla still has to find a sword somewhere.
And we sitting over here in our comfy commentator chairs, and the audience sitting in their comfy chairs, all know that there is no sword in Ganon's Tower here. They are all outside.
So it just comes down to which sword does Coxla find first, and we would hope that it's just step outside of, well, it's not going to be a step outside of Spike Cave because he's already going up the tower, so he's going to have to find one somewhere else. Where else was there a sword?
There's a sword deep in Thieves Town.
That's not close to the pyramid.
Nah. The other was also deep in a dungeon somewhere, right? Ice Palace, big chest, right? Cox's sword is from Hookshot Cave.
Ooh, this is rough.
just getting bullied from the gauntlet here.
Oh no.
Had that potion kind of ready. Okay, had a fairy. That's okay. I saw that does have a fairy, so decided to keep the potion and just face tank and use the fairy. Okay. I mean, it was scrolling through those potions there. I was like, I was gonna equip the blue one just in case and pop it, but I think I mistook the pixels of the fairy for the bee, and here we have a nice Lamola fight.
A vanilla Landmola.
So that was 3 vanilla bosses, I think. 3 vanilla bosses, and then one that was just like very slightly transposed, same location, just the dark world version of it.
I think so. But again, Coxla has to dodge a second Trinex where Moldorm is. I'm being told by chat that Trinex cannot be at Moldorm 2, which is good.
Yeah, it's a little bit too small up there for a big boy like Trinex.
Yeah, not enough real estate. Does that work?
No. All those explosions that Bombos does, it just is too inaccurate for a torch.
Alright, azder picks up another crystal that is 6 down, 1 to go. azder is closing this gap, and it is a Helmasaur King over at Moldorm 2.
Helmasaur bullying continues with that drop there onto the spikes. Yeah, I guess considering this arena and the bounce back you get from hammering Helmasaur, using bombs is probably safer. It's gotta stay out of the way of him generally.
Yeah, it's a little hard to stay out of the way when you have this little space to work with.
Yeah, and only 4 bombs left at this point as well. Switching to hammer there, so probably gonna try to work the positioning out a little bit.
Oh, this is nerve-wracking. Coxla has to very gingerly hit Helmasaur's helmet with a hammer.
Oh, it's like walking through the dealer's room at a convention or something. You're just trying to squish through and look at the good stuff. And now has to wait for Helmasaur to center himself so he can actually hit the jewel.
Oof. This is rough.
Helmasaur, come. No, left, please. More left. No, left. No, right. No, right. Okay,
there it is. Jeez.
Up through. Wow. Is Helmasaur just coded to go to the opposite side of where you're going because trying to not get hit?
Yeah, it is probably obvious. There's definitely nerves on Coxla's on Coxla's side. Just there's a lot of mismenuing, and I don't blame him in the slightest. Here's Aga 2.
Coxla at Aga 2, favorite math boss here, as azder got its final crystal and is now heading up the mountain.
Alright, that's an Aga 2 down, but Coxla cannot go into the Ganon fight without finding another sword. Azder can make up the difference. I am very excited for how this is going to end up.
If azder goes full left, that's going to be a very quick boss key.
Yeah, I don't know how Azder usually routes GT. We'll see. Coxla's on the mountain. What is on the mountain that he hasn't done? Is it just Spike Cave?
Spike Cave or Turtle Rock?
Oh, it's probably Turtle Rock. There's a lot of checks there. The best chance is that Coxla clears Turtle Rock, finds nothing, and then goes to Spike Cave. Yeah, the nerves are just there.
Yep, cracking it open. As azder clears out this room here, 4 checks, nothing there yet, and is going to mirror.
Yeah,
and head to the right. Okay,
Yep.
Cox is getting a little time left, because if azder had kept going right down to the next chest, that would have been the big key and would have been flying up the tower at that point. But at this point, with Coxla making a Turtle Rock dive, possibly in as deep as possible. But you take the space with as many checks as possible to just kind of up your odds of finding what you need. Just the density. Givdos, no, stop. Down. Bad. At least with the golden sword, you can just smash them to bits really quickly. As they're going to pick up the silvers right there, making Ganon fight just trivial for him at this point.
Well, also found the Turtle Rock Big on the right side. Meanwhile, Azder's going to go full right. And this is a room that I 100% need a map to do. Yeah, I'm surprised Azder didn't just do this instead of trying to do it the quick and fancy way of going on the right side.
So Asder here, going to see Trinex on ice playing at a stadium near you, but is able to defeat it.
Assuming he has magic?
Should have that blue potion still. Just has to be really careful because it's on ice and everywhere and has to make those shots.
Yeah, this is not an easy fight.
Yeah, I don't know if he's got enough left at this point. Depends on if he can, how many times he can hit the other head after hitting it with the fire rod there.
No,
and
that's
very
it.
low on health as well.
No, I don't think he has another shot.
No. Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
All right, let's see if
not die.
Let's see if Azure can pull this out. And I mean, we know the big key is not back here, but this would just be cool. Oh.
Does he still have a fairy? No. Okay. Do we go left? Yes.
You have to, right?
I mean, even personally, I wouldn't want to slam my head into that boss again. Especially, having to go pick up like a magic container somewhere as well to be able just to go fight it again. And there's still a billion checks on the left side. You might as well go do that first, and then have to come back if you need to.
Yeah, at this point, you just exhaust everything you can before having to fight Ice Trinex again.
Asder, happy dance in 3. Well, 3, 2, 1. It was faster than I thought, sorry. But there's the big key for Asder, going to go grab a small key and then head up the tower.
Also finds half magic on Laser Bridge. That might be something, because Azder's definitely not going to get that. So we should know what this boss is, because we've seen everything, right? Vanilla Trinex! Which he can't do!
Oh no, oh dear. Well, at least that gets him out of the dungeon a little faster.
Right, but where's he getting his sword?
Just have to hope that he has a mental back checklist of where a chest hasn't been opened yet. Go from there. Out of everything that's left, Spike Cave is the most accessible, the quickest one.
Alright, Coxla's at Sank. Where are we going? Oh, is this... It's Dark World. Is this Thieves Town?
I mean, considering Skull Woods was completely cleared out, and we know... Yeah, it has to be. Definitely the... Oh,
Yeah. And as chat points out,
No?
Coxla forgot Flute, so he is just not in a good mental place right now.
Oh, hammer pegs. Okay, I didn't do this because God. Yeah, okay.
This makes sense. We know it's not the sword, but it makes sense. Now, if he goes into Thieves Town after this, he's in good shape.
Go left. Okay.
Uh-oh, it's happening. It's happening. So this is going to be really close because azder is going to get to Aga 2 in probably like 90 seconds.
Depending on how the Helmosaur at the top of the tower fight goes. I think even Azder's having a little bit of shaky hands there, just small, like the bomb not getting in the right spot, whatnot, just trying to get through, because 2 hours in.
That's a master sword. Coxla is now officially in go mode, and it's time to beat Ganon.
As Azder going straight for hammer strats here on the Helmosaur, just playing a little nicer than it did with Coxla.
So Coxla is going to get into the Ganon fight first. Let's see if the sword advantage comes into play for azder. This is not a sure thing for either runner. This is going to be a great finish, no matter where it ends up.
Coxla getting blocked off by a couple of the enemies there on the bridge. Is running right back up the pyramid as Azder runs up the rooms, heading to Agnum 2. Now, Coxla got a 2-2-2. Positioning was okay, so we'll see if Azder is able to leverage any faster fight here with Geometry Wizard. As Coxla begins the spin to win. Do a lot of spins to get through these first few phases, but once we're at the final phase, can just shoot 4 silver arrows into Ganon after stunning the big pig.
Coxla using the Cane of Samaria to great effect in the first portion of the fight to get in some extra spins. In phase 2.
Careful, that was a bat hug there.
Azder just now entering the Ganon fight.
Coxla still has that potion. Good shot there. Just use it now while you're one hit away and not risk it. All right, phase 3. Teleports be good. Those last 2 ones are pretty good.
Here comes phase 4. Coxla is just a few arrow shots away from a win. That's 2, and Azder is really close behind. Uh-oh.
Torches go out. Didn't get torch glitch, so has to light both of them. Azder falls.
Oh no.
Coxla, be careful, you too.
This will be 3 and 4. That's 4. That's it.
4. Coxla just has to cross the bridge.
Everyone get your GGs in chat for Coxla, who finishes with a time of 2:03.52. What a game. Azder not too far behind on the Ganon fight, now entering phase 3. Oof. As they're getting a double.
Ugh, nearly fell from the bounce back there. But was able to get those last few shots in. Sword raised to cross the bridge. We'll be done.
And Asder finishes with a time of 2:05:03. GG's to both runners. What an incredible race that was.
For how wide the gap was between the runners at some points, it is amazing how close this finish was between them.
And our runners will be coming in, and let's welcome our runners Asder and Coxla. GG's.
GG's.
GG.
GG's.
So, of the races that I've seen so far in groups, this was the most incredible run I've ever seen. Certainly one of the closest I've seen.
I feel like it really shouldn't have.
I mean, yeah, but it was close at the end, and that still made for a great viewing experience.
Oh my god, so many things in this. I thought I was dead in the water for like the last 30 minutes, but so many things in the seed ended up mattering. Like, I go into hammerless pendant ice, and I run out of hearts, and I can't cross the stupid spike gap to get my hook shot. And then I bail on the mirror because I double dipped ice. It's just like, oh, that's nuts. I thought for sure I had lost already, so I was kind of reckless on Ganon.
Yeah, we all assumed that you were just gonna last locate the mirror once you bailed on Ice Tea, and I think that's what ended up happening. But it was still like it still ended up pretty close. Coxla, your story was way different, of course. You had to find a sword to get go mode, and you eventually found one in the attic of Thieves Town. Tell us your thoughts on that whole experience.
That was a long road to the sword, but I didn't know what I had to do. Honestly, I was okay. The most checks I have were in Thieves Town after TR, so I went there, and hopefully there finally was a sword. I heard there was one in Spike Cave and one in Ice Palace.
Yes, I think Ice Palace Big Chest had one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I did not have the hammer at the time, and I did everything I could. I had no reason to go back in ice. So.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, so as Coxla was finishing up Ganon's tower, and it was pretty much a full clear except for Ice Trinex. Yeah, it was just a sword hunt at that point, and I think Azder was like maybe 3 crystals behind, but the sword hunt brought you back into it.
Yeah,
3 crystals behind sounds about right.
There was one thing I was proud in this seed. It was my Vitreous fight, I think. I was happy about that. But...
Yeah, the Vitreous fight, I don't remember specifics about it, but it was...
He was really red. I remember that much.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, hammer, because it was a lot of, because no good sword or anything there, so...
Yes, that was absolutely well done for having to improvise around a fighter sword. So that was just incredible gameplay from both of you.
I felt it was you could have been misled at some point because of if you mimic clip in this seed, you may have some area and then go into Meyer and find nothing and oh no, you find what was Hammer? It was in Meyer shed. So you find Hammer and then you can go in swamp and maybe find bow, but I think you could miss you could miss Ice Pass because of that, but oh no, because you would not have the mirror and the hookshot, but I don't know. I thought you could miss some things depending on how you do, in which order you did things. So, but...
It was probably better if you did hammerless. Wait, no. If you do, no, hammerless ice makes you miss the sword. I guess. The seed is so weird. Like, when did you get the flute actually? Because the flute was
really late.
really bad.
Yeah, I do not feel really a bit bad, but not much because I was okay. I had no source at that point, and I would have not gone back there for just one. Even if I knew I would have one item there. Not accessing the boss, so okay. I wait and maybe you wait too. So not too. A bit late, but not too bad, I think, regarding the flute.
Yeah, it's just like you get fire rod, but you don't want to. Like, if you full clear skull, it's first, the front,
Yes.
and then
That's
you
what
get fire rod after. You don't want to go back there without a sword, and then the sword was in a bad spot. Like the first sword I got was Thieves 10. I don't remember what your first sword was.
It was on the mountains, so yeah, quite late.
Oh, okay, because you had hookshot. I was stuck for a long time without hookshot.
Oh yeah, because you.
I died.
Yeah,
in
I
Mother's
realized
Palace.
I did not have the hammer on top of the mountain. It was okay. Have to do some checks in Hera. I was waiting for maybe a weapon on the right side, but went up and forgot about the hammer to cross.
Yeah, so as the seed was progressing through, for Coxla at least, so what happened with the reset in Ganon's tower? That had to be an accident, right?
No, my console crashed.
That'll do.
I had these a few times now, and I'm a bit. I don't know. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it's a bit annoying. But I just try to bug report it and see.
Yeah, it was.
But I feel it's my console more than the game.
Gotcha. It was very fortunate that you took a save before Ganon's tower, because it was not a lot of progress that you had to go back to.
Yeah, but because it happened a few times, I'm more. I tend to save more even if I have the flute now.
Now, yeah. So after that unfortunate crash, were you at all like maybe nervous about things? Because we did see a couple of missed quick swap menus, and like tell us your thoughts as you're recovering from that from the console crash.
Yeah, it was a bit messy. Where were items in GT? I remember the silvers and the bottle, and since I had no half magic, I was going for silver for Master Sword likely. So I had to grab back the blue bottle, and I was a bit confused and plus stressed because it was 2 hours in and it's still an MC. You have no key shuffle. It could not be that long, so really nervous about. It's a long seed and Azder hasn't finished yet, so yeah, a bit stressed.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely I would absolutely be feel the same way in your shoes. All right. I didn't have any other questions. Kari, do you got anything?
Now you covered everything that I had thought to ask, so good job.
All right. Any final thoughts from our runners?
I think I need to practice more. I haven't done a lot of seeds on my own lately. I've been kind of busy and not really prioritizing this game. But yeah, some of those deaths I had were pretty avoidable. So I guess I gotta step it up.
All right. So that was your first game in groups, right?
Yes.
All right. And Coxla, you are now 1 and 2. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
All right. So plenty of gameplay left. So good luck. I'm sorry, Coxla. Did you have anything else? Did you want to add?
Oh, not much, except thank you very much for the stream. Really appreciated. And I have to go to bed.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's so late and you had to play long seed.
Yeah, no issue. It's fine, but I have to sleep now. But wait, yeah. Thank you very much, and GG's as well.
GG.
Thank you for that race. Kari, did you have anything else that you want to add?
No, that for my first commentary for this tournament, that was a heck of a race to start it on. And honestly, with the strengths of how all these players, it's going to keep going up from here. Every single race is a must-watch. So, with that said, please, for everyone watching this, one, follow these two runners who put on a great show for us today, and two, follow all of the SpeedGaming channels and follow along the Link to the Past randomizer tournament going on. We're just starting. We got a long road ahead of us to see where all of our competitors end up, and we are hosting races all day, every day, sometimes multiple ones at the same time on different channels, because SpeedGaming's got a lot of channels. And yeah, just keep track of where all your favorite racers are going. Maybe you'll find some new favorites too as we go through our yearly tournament here.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to end things off, if you're not following the runners, please follow the runners. And if you want to follow the crew, you can go ahead and do that as well. And as Kari mentioned, we have plenty of races left to restream for groups and then eventually brackets. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.